ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What up? What's happening? It's Soggy Boy coming at you for another wonderful, wondrous episode of Garbage Time. With me today, I have the Drewest of Chains on my left, even though I'm pointing right. Drew, how's it going?
Good to be back, buddy.
Yeah, I know. We had a nice little hiatus I mentioned earlier on Fantasy Time. Congratulations again to James and Megan Popolo, the Big P. They are currently on their honeymoon. James has been chiming in periodically throughout the last episode. I foresee that happening here at some point.
Wouldn't be surprised.
The key phrase today is nut. So if you see it, you'll know what's going on. But we have a fantastic show planned for you guys tonight. A third of the season has already finished. We are at week 7. So we're going to be giving you our superlatives for this first third of the NFL season. MVP, Rookie of the Year on both sides of the ball, Player of the Year on both sides of the ball, Coach, Comeback Player. Can even give you a Game of the Season so far if we get to that point. So, we got a lot of stuff for you. Drew, you're really dark.
I bet I am.
Why are you so dark?
Because my Chrome browser is dark.
Oh. You don't have a light or anything?
No.
What the fuck? Wild. Anyways.
Hold on, let me...
and then we're going to be going over week 7 with you. Standard stuff, game of the week, blowout watch, upset alert, all of the good stuff there. So let's start out with some headlines. Obviously, major news coming out of Colts. The Colts, camp. Anthony Richardson is going to be receiving season-ending shoulder surgery. So he will be out for the rest of the season. Gardner Minshew will be taking over his spot as the starting quarterback. Mecole Hardman traded back to the Chiefs after 6 games with the Jets. Cool. Obviously should be good for Patrick Mahomes to get a weapon that he can somewhat trust back on that team. Also, Mecole Hardman hasn't done anything with the Jets. So, it works out. They get a late round pick swap for him. So, and then Kyler Murray is finally making his way back off of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare lobby to playing football, I guess. He is returning to practice from PUP. So we are officially on Kyler Murray 2023 watch here to see if he can do anything to salvage a terrible season for the Cardinals so far. Drew, any hot news from your neck of the woods?
Not really. No. Justin Fields looks like he's probably not going to be playing this week with a dislocated finger, whatever the hell it was. Super unfortunate for, I don't know, the Bears, I guess. Justin Fields fantasy owners, maybe. I don't know. He had a shit game last week. The NFC North is dog shit. The Lions are the only competitive team in the NFC North, and that feels very, very strange to say.
We were saying this in the earlier slot. Seeing the Lions in 5-1 next to their name is really off-putting. Not necessarily a bad way. Like, the Lions have had the shit end of the stick for the last, 70 plus years. So it's nice to finally see a team that's been a dog shit franchise get a little better. They started 5-1, which is great. That's not necessarily going to translate into the rest of the season if they don't continue their momentum, but it is very strange to see the likes of Detroit, 5-1 there, and seeing a New England Patriots team at 1-5. So, just a correlation swap between both of those teams.
Yeah, and I think honestly the weirdest part about it is all of the other teams in the NFC North have 1 or 2 wins. I thought the Vikings were going to be better. I thought
we all did.
I didn't know what to think about the Packers, but they have lost some games that they should have won. Yeah, no, it's been real ugly. The Bears garbage. That's what I got for you.
All right, fantastic. Well,
upside down.
yeah, the world is upside down, for sure. I mean, I think in the next 2 weeks, looking and seeing a Patriots team that's 1-7 is going to be really, really strange. But it's going to happen. They're playing the Bills and then the Dolphins again. So
Yeah, that's gonna be a hell of a reality check when you see that record next to their name.
Yeah, well, they'll still find some way to screw up the draft pick, Drew. They'll
They
find a
sure
way.
will. Oh, they will.
Oh my God. Well, let's move on then. Let's get into our first big segment, and that is the NFL season that has been so far, our superlatives. Drew, let's start right here. Let's start with the big one. Who has been your MVP for this season so far?
You were 1 year off, buddy. You were 1 year
I
off.
know! I get it. All right, I don't want to hear it anymore. Fuck.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't know how you can look at this season so far and not pick Tua as your MVP. I mean, that dude is leading an offense that's putting up ungodly numbers. First in rushing, first in passing. And the dude looks good. They have built him just an absolute unit of an offense. If the defense can fucking play up to even a third of the expectation that they have, which they haven't at all this year, this team is going to be unstoppable. If the defense can catch up in any capacity, nobody's going to beat the fucking Dolphins. Come on.
Oh man, yeah. I think Drew, and correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this was 2 years ago that I said Tua for MVP. But I guess I'm just 2 years too early on all my takes. I don't know. I should probably just stop saying shit. But then again, what good is it if I don't say anything? Yeah, it has to be Tua. I mean, it really does. 5-1 team. Tied for first place in the league amongst Philadelphia, Kansas City, and San Francisco. And you look at those teams and you say, okay, all these teams are 5-1. There have been some games where they probably should have lost out of there. Looking at Miami, there's only one game where they really should have lost. Every other game they've been in control. I guess maybe that Patriots game, where if they do everything right, they end up losing that game. But they've been in control when their offense is clicking. I mean, we saw it against the Broncos. They scored 70 fucking points. Raheem Mostert has 11 touchdowns through 6 weeks. Through 6 weeks, he has 11 touchdowns. And that offense just continues to roll. I mean, it has to go to that quarterback. I mean, Tua is showing that he is the best Alabama quarterback right now. Mac Jones. And
that one's not really reason close.
No, I know. Just people saying that Mac Jones is going to be better than Tua. I just, again, to that comparison,
I'm not seeing that at this point.
Whoa, no. What I'm saying is that people thought it was going to happen. I never argued that fact. I have always despised Mac Jones, and I almost cried when they drafted him.
Huge on Tua until he started just absolutely balling out.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's fair, but they also gave him the weapons that he needed. Right. So, yeah, Tua MVP this season so far. I would 100% agree. And if he continues to play like this, then he's going to be very close to a unanimous MVP.
Yeah.
There's only been, 2 of them?
Yeah.
Maybe one?
The thing is there's no other quarterbacks that are really blowing me away this year. I mean, sure, we're getting some decent performances out of the usual. Patrick Mahomes is playing all right.
Jalen Hurts is playing
playing great.
Right.
There have been a lot of underwhelming performances so far this year, and Tua's really the one that stands out as clearly the best of the bunch so far, anyways. And I don't see that really changing, to be honest with you. I don't. The Chiefs look great, but Mahomes is he doesn't look as dominant as he has in previous years. Joe Burrow and the Bengals, no. Justin Herbert, we talked about this already. I mean, dude can't fucking close out a game to save his life.
I don't know what's going on there.
I don't. There's no other fucking choice at this point.
I mean, yeah, right now, I mean, it is pretty clear and obvious that, we should have Tua at the top of our list. I mean, just some stats for you. He leads the league in touchdowns with 14. He's tied with Kirk Cousins. He has
Kirk
18...
Cousins is fucking 2-4.
Kirk Cousins is 2-4 for sure. I understand that. I'm just giving you the stats as they are here. He's thrown for almost 1,900 yards in 6 games. He has completed 71.1% of his passes. He's got a passer rating of 114, and he's thrown 5 picks, which isn't great. But again, if you got 14 touchdowns, you can throw 5 picks, and if you're 5-1, who the fuck cares? So again, the best football we've seen Tua play so far. I mean, in his decently young career. So yeah, I would give it to Tua, and then really just watch him throughout the rest of the season. So, all right, Drew, who is your offensive player of the year so far?
Tua's main man, gotta be Tyreek. I mean, he's fucking lighting it up, just tearing the league apart. Dude scoring touchdowns every week, putting up seemingly 150, 200 yards a week, like 10, 15 receptions a week.
Yeah, he's averaging 7 receptions a week. He's got currently he is sitting at 814 receiving yards through 6 weeks. And he has 6 touchdowns. So that's a lot.
That's a touchdown a week, 125 yards a week.
A lot of yards.
Yeah, no, that's
a lot of yards, man. That's crazy.
If he keeps up anything close to that for the rest of the year, he will be the offensive player of the year. There's absolutely no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I for sure think that Tyreek Hill at this point deserves it. I am going to sway a little bit away from it, unfortunately, and give my pick to Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, if there was another pick that was even somewhat valid.
And based solely off the fact that we watched what happened when Christian McCaffrey got hurt last week and the 49ers lost. Yes, Deebo Samuel got hurt, but he's been on and off the injury list all season. Christian McCaffrey is the lifeblood for that 49ers offense. And when he is healthy, he is the offensive player of the year. I love Tyreek Hill. I love his game. I love him as a person, but that's besides the point. Yes, he's scoring astronomically, but Christian McCaffrey, the ball runs through him 95% of the time, receiving, rushing. He's got 7 touchdowns on the ground. He has a couple more receiving touchdowns as well he's already at 10 or 11 total touchdowns combined, tying with Raheem Mostert, who dark horse offensive player of the year, Raheem Mostert.
It's true.
He just doesn't have the yards to go with it. But give me Christian McCaffrey so far this season. I think that because of his versatility, he does have a little bit of a leg up on Tyreek Hill.
I mean, yeah, inherently. That's fair.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm getting in the mind of people who think of offense. Like, he is the offense.
Yeah.
Regardless of how he gets the ball, he's getting the ball and he's scoring.
So is Tyreek.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Tyreek Hill. I'm just saying the versatility outweighs the actual
That's
pure production. So, defensive player of the year, Drew. Who you got?
All right. I mean, I feel like we should probably have the same pick here so far, and that's got to be Micah Parsons, right?
I mean, I disagree. I'm actually going to go a different direction here.
Really?
Yep. Micah Parsons. It's Micah Parsons and this one other person for me because of how well the defense itself is playing too.
Interesting. Anyways,
You know who
Micah
I'm gonna
Parsons
pick?
is the best defensive player in the league. So,
I mean, he's disturbingly good. I mean,
yeah,
watching him
he
play
is worth
football
like
is
3
crazy.
average linebackers. That dude's
It's
fucking nuts. He can
insane.
wreck offensive lines. He can wreck coverages. He can wreck your entire day by himself, and does
Yeah.
on a consistent basis. So, who the fuck do you think is better?
I mean, marginally, but Myles Garrett. Okay. I have Myles Garrett as my defensive player of the year so far. Obviously, it's really hard to go against Micah Parsons. It really is, and every bone in my body is telling me Micah Parsons. But just with the sheer production, just the sheer production of how well that Myles Garrett is leading this Browns defense to a historically good defense, does not go unnoticed by me. Obviously it is an individual reward. And at the end of the day, Micah Parsons probably will win. But I feel as though that Myles Garrett is elevating his defense in a way that Micah Parsons hasn't been able to this season. He's been doing it on his own, but he hasn't been able to elevate the players around him to create a whole defense where Myles Garrett has been. Sounds stupid, I know, but whatever. I'm going with what I got. So give me Myles Garrett.
Fair enough, I guess.
I'm just saying, like, it's impressive that he can do what he does and be a leader in that locker room and coach that defense to how it's going with Jim Schwartz.
I feel like Micah Parsons is probably a leader in the locker room too. He seems like quite a presence. So,
I guess, whatever.
They also lost one of the best cornerbacks in the league, so that didn't help anything with their defensive performance.
I still think he's overrated as fuck, but whatever.
Look, me too. He gets beat a lot, but you can't argue with the fact that he can hawk that ball, boy. He can find that football when it's in the air. Anyways.
All right, well, we have our rookies to go over, Drew. So, who is your offensive rookie of the year so far?
Oh, I'm so happy to say this.
Yeah,
my guy, CJ Stroud.
I am also just going to have to agree with you, and I'm going to let you talk for me. So have fun.
So, I mean, the only other guy I can really think of for offensive rookie of the year is Puka. I mean, dude's been putting up some serious numbers.
He really has. I mean, he's tied for league lead in receptions. He has 600 yards receiving. His only caveat is the 2 touchdowns, but
but I mean that's okay because he's got how many other guys on that offense to compete with for touchdowns? There are a lot of targets in that Rams offense. So
it's true.
I think what he's been able to do is very impressive, but what CJ Stroud has been able to do has been even more impressive. He came in dog shit Texans team, and we all thought they were probably not going to win a game. But here they are. They've won, 2 games? And they look okay. They look like they look like a football team, which is
they really do. I mean, they have a young defense.
Mm-hmm.
Picking up Will Anderson sure as fuck didn't hurt. Dark horse defensive rookie of the year candidate for me. But yeah, I mean, just to take a look at CJ Stroud, he is the in terms of passing yards, the 4th best in the league with 1,660 yards. He's averaging around 8 yards an attempt. The only thing for him is that completion percentage. So he's been a pretty big boomer bust guy, 59.6. So you'd want to see that number come up a little bit. Obviously, on a Texans team, the completion percentage isn't great, but sitting at 9-1. He's only thrown 1 pick. He's thrown 9 touchdowns. He's hovering around a 97 passer rating. So really good rookie season for him. Almost broke the record for I believe it was pass attempts before throwing your first interception. He was at 190 something or other. I forget. I honestly forget the number on that. But only knock on him is that completion percentage. But he's got 1,600, almost 1,700 yards through 6 games. So he's had a hell of a first 6 games. He's had a hell of a season so far. And he is not Bryce Young. So
that's all you can ask for, right?
Makes me cry on the inside that Bryce Young has done so.
You bought into the hype.
Oh,
my boy.
It's so sad.
Have you heard of Kyler Murray?
Oh, yes, I've heard of Kyler Murray before. I've also heard of Drew Brees, but I shouldn't have let that get the best of me.
Well, that's true. Drew Brees is an exception, not the rule.
That's fair. That's fair. I get it.
Really hard to fucking play quarterback in the NFL when you can't see over your lineman. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true. Drew, I have a little trivia question for you.
Sure.
We know who has the highest passer rating in the NFL currently, because we've already talked about it. Who has the second best passer rating?
Second best passer rating. It's gonna be someone dumb. Someone dumb like Zach Wilson.
It is not Zach Wilson.
Okay, good.
Zach Wilson has a 73.4 passer rating.
Okay, good. That sounds right.
No, that's not Zach Wilson.
Brock Purdy?
Brockless Purdy.
Brockless.
Yeah, Brock Purdy sitting at 119.9, 10 touchdowns to 1 interception.
119?
111.9.
Oh, there we go.
What I said. And the biggest thing for him is he has, up upon their, the next quarterbacks on the upper echelon there is his attempts. He's only thrown 163 balls versus every single person above him besides Tua, who was throwing 197, has thrown over 200 passes. So Brock Purdy, very efficient when he is throwing the ball, obviously goes into more of my thing where, hey, they're getting the ball to Christian McCaffrey a whole fuck ton. That is proof of it right there. He's only thrown the ball 163 times. So, yeah, but next best quarterback in terms of overall stats, really, Brock Purdy. I mean, maybe Kirk
the dude's good. He's proven that he can, at the very least, manage games and win NFL football games. This is also saying he has the second best offense in the league, and it's after Miami and San Fran. It drops off pretty hard. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Great, but I mean, when you go and break down the weapons that Miami and San Fran have, my God, they are stacked to the tits.
They really are.
And honestly, I think it's kind of pathetic that San Fran wasn't able to put up more points. Despite Christian McCaffrey not being there and Debo, they still have a ton of weapons. That was a little bit of a hit to their reputation in my eyes, because if you lose 2 players and you can't do shit, like nothing, not great.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I can see if you take Jalen Waddle or Tyreek out of the situation in Miami for a game, Jalen Waddle has already been out of the situation for a few games this year, and you end up taking Devon Achane out of that situation as well, Miami still fucking puts up points. Miami still runs up and down the field. San Fran doesn't.
It's true. That's true. Grain of salt. So, all right, defensive rookie of the year, sir. What you got?
I think Jalen Carter.
Yeah,
3.5 sacks through the first third of the year as a rookie. That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that is really good.
17, 18
really
tackles. Will Anderson has more tackles, but only 1 sack. Still making plays on defense, still out there making a difference. But I think that looking at it, and it bothers me so bad that Christian Gonzalez got hurt because he was absolutely my dead ringer for rookie of the year.
I know, so sad that he's out for the season, but through the first 4 games until they played the Cowboys, and then everything hit the fan. But yeah, I mean, Christian Gonzalez looked legit, looked fucking legit. And the Patriots defense was playing well up until that point. Once they lost Christian Gonzalez, it was and Matthew Judon, their defense went to shit. I mean, what are you supposed to do? You got a bunch of backups on the field.
Those are your 2 guys. Those are the
exactly
holding pins of your defense. You can't lose both of them abruptly and expect the defense to not take a hit.
And not only that, like, how do you expect the defense to play well if they're out there 20 to 25 minutes more than the opposing team's defense?
That's very true. The Patriots have not been able to sustain drives or hold on to the ball for
at all
this year.
At all. They have the second they have the second worst turnover differential at like +9 now. I'm +9, -9. They just cannot hold on to the ball. It really isn't like, I wouldn't say Mac Jones is throwing picks like crazy, but he has thrown 7 picks he's thrown the most in the league at 7, and he's fumbled the ball 4 or 5 times already, and 2 of those have gone for touchdowns. So
he looks terrible.
He looks so bad. He looks terrible.
And again, the fact that he has no weapons and no offensive line don't help, but he's not doing anything to help either at this point.
No, God, no. I mean, I get it. Kid's trying to make a play, do what he needs to do. He dropped a dime of a pass at Devontae Parker last week, and Devontae Parker just couldn't catch it, and then tried to blame everyone else but himself for the lack of production. So I'm done with this team. They need to sell everything.
Yeah. What option do you have at this point? Blow it up, start over.
I don't know, but they need to do something. There needs to be some sort of infusion in this team, whether it's, I don't know, youth or revigoration. I mean, they're just,
what they need. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they need. They need everything. They need help.
They need a culture change. There needs to be a culture change. I mean, it's just been like this for so long. Do your job, all of this stuff, and it's hard to do your job when the people around you just don't want to anymore.
Right.
So, people are not buying into the Belichick system anymore. It's over. I mean, there's been no production. Team sitting at 1-5. This is supposed to be the year that they possibly made it back to the playoffs, and Mac's 3rd year, and all of this nonsense is just fucking slapped them back in the face. So, but yes, back to our original point. Jalen Carter, defensive rookie of the year, is looking real nice. Christian Gonzalez was my early favorite before, after the draft. I had him. Looked like he was on his way until he got hurt in week 4. So now you're obviously next best pick. I have either Will Anderson or Jalen Carter there. But I feel like it's easier to win defensive rookie of the year if you're on a better team. So Jalen Carter does have a leg up. Although if you're Sauce Gardner, you have a better time. So
Sauce was special last year.
Yeah, he was ridiculous last year. I'm just saying, like, if you are a Sauce caliber player in your rookie year,
right,
it doesn't matter what kind of team you're on. But if it's kind of a run of the mill kind of rookie season, and you do well, if you're on a better team, it kind of stands out more. So, so yeah, give me Jalen Carter as well there. So we have Coach of the Year and we have Comeback Player of the Year. So I'm gonna give you the floor. Pick which one you want and tell me who your pick is.
Oh, I'm taking Coach of the Year, 100%. My man, Dan Campbell. My man. I mean, how many fucking coaches have they brought in to that organization just to boot them out after half a season and a half, whatever? Dan Campbell finally succeeds in coming in and changing the culture of the Lions organization. And even as a Packers fan, like, that's good to see. Like, you don't like to see teams suffer decade after decade after decade. Like, think about all the teams that were dog shit when we were kids, the Chiefs and the 49ers and all those teams that are good now. And it's, I fucking hate the 49ers with a passion, but they can go back to being dog shit. I'd be okay with that. But it's the Lions' turn. I think of all teams in the NFL, the Lions have never had a turn.
Never.
So
not even when they had Barry.
No, but they had some good teams, but they've never been successful. Never. And to be one of the core teams of the NFL, to be one of those teams that's been there for so long, and to not have anything to show for it, I honestly, genuinely hope the Lions win the Super Bowl this year if the Packers can't, or the Jets.
I mean, I fucking imagine if they do, that would be insane. I think Detroit would just. I would be
a little scared for the city of Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like Detroit would just. It literally there would just be an explosion. An implosion. Black hole would open up and just swallow the city of Detroit, and then there would be nothing. That's it. End of life as we know it.
All right, well, for everybody then.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. All right, I'm going in a different direction only because I feel like this needs to be highlighted as well. I've loved Dan Campbell, and I would also agree with you, but I think that maybe that this coach has done a little more, seeing as though what we saw out of him last year. Mike McDaniels, coach of the year.
All right, well, Mike McDaniel was able to put up a good year last year. They still had a good team.
They had a good team, but they really fell off after Tua got hurt and had a lot of injuries. So seeing as what he was able to do with Tua in the offseason to keep him smart and keep him healthy on the field. Now, we haven't seen significant injuries for this Dolphins team besides Devon Achane, who should be coming back within the next couple of weeks. But really the work that Mike McDaniel's put in with Tua over the offseason is paying dividends for them. And the offense looks astronomically better than it did last season. The one thing obviously that's taken a hit is the defense. It's not playing as well as it did last season. They are 5-1, so obviously they're doing enough to get those W's. But they have reinforcements on the way. But Mike McDaniels has been able to put forward a historically good offense this season for the Dolphins through 6 games. And they've been able to do it against some pretty decent defenses. Knock the Patriots all you want. They've got a pretty good defense in week 2. So
my one counter argument to that, I like Mike McDaniel. I think he's a very good coach, and he would absolutely be my runner-up for coach of the year. Like you said, he hasn't really had to deal too much with the injury thing. And when he has, it's been one person at a time. The Lions have. The Lions have had to deal with David Montgomery being out. The Lions have had to deal with Amon-Ra being banged up. Jahmyr Gibbs is a schlub.
He's not a schlub. They just won't fucking use him, Drew. God damn it.
When they do, he hasn't been great. I don't know. But I think Dan Campbell's been able to do more with less. Well, not more, but has been through tougher situations so far and still been able to come through it. And that's not to say that Mike McDaniel can't, because we haven't seen it yet. But
yeah, I mean, I would agree there with you. I mean, I feel like just the bulk of work between both teams, I feel like the Lions have had a better showing. I mean, beating the reigning Super Bowl champions on opening night. Statement win. That is a statement.
Absolutely. That was huge.
And then coming back the next week and scoring a fuck ton of points against Seattle, and ultimately losing that game and then just winning the next 4 in a row. I mean, they have come out and made a statement. Hey, we are here. This is our time. So again, like I said, I really like Dan Campbell, and I think that that's great. You also do have to remember that the Lions and the Dolphins had the same record last year. It's not like the Lions came out of nowhere. We knew they were going to be a good football team again. Did we know that they were going to be 5-1 to start the season? No, absolutely not. Out of both teams, we expected the Dolphins to rebound, and they did. I guess in your favor, We didn't expect the Lions to be 5-1. We could have expected the Dolphins to be 5-1. So that speaks even more to Dan Campbell's coaching. So I'm not mad if Dan Campbell wins. He would fully deserve it. I think that we are looking at two different sides of the same coin for Mike McDaniels and for Dan Campbell. So
that's fair.
All right, comeback player of the year, and then we can move on to week 7.
Well, I mean, there's an easy one.
Tell me.
Damar Hamlin.
No, fuck that.
Well, as long as the guy steps on the field, like the fact that he got back on a football field this year is fucking impressive. Dude,
it's
incredible.
It's incredible, and I understand that. I just like it's so hard. So hard to give an award to someone just for stepping foot on a football field. I understand.
Doug, if Nick Chubb steps on the football field next year, he already won comeback player of the year. Like,
yeah, I mean, okay, fair enough. I guess the same thing goes to Alex Smith if he ever stepped foot on a football field again.
He did. And won comeback player of the year.
Yeah, good point. All right, fair enough. Yeah, then Damar Hamlin, cool. Game over.
I don't think that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any argument there. I just like. I get it. Like I get it.
Right.
The situation
in a year where some freak nonsense like that doesn't happen, where someone's leg doesn't bend backwards 9 different places, or Alex Smith's leg doesn't look like a sausage that got ran over by an 18-wheeler.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
When somebody they have won the award for their journey to get back on the field.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Obviously, Damar Hamlin is more than deserving of that, literally dying on the field. So, I know. I just like, I think what I equate it to is having that struggle and having the production as well.
No, like I said, most years when a dude, breaks a few ribs and comes back the next year and puts up crazy numbers, like, yeah, Jordy Nelson, when he came back and won comeback.
Yeah, right.
Those kind of years. That's when you look at it that way. But it's the freak things that it's like, oh, he might never play football again.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I'm just overzealous about the award because I guess my gripe is that things happen like that so often now that it's just like, okay, well, you just get the award for stepping on the field now. It's like crazy.
Not
that. No, you're right. Not that. But like Alex Smith, this leg injury for Nick Chubb. I mean, there have been so many disturbing injuries the last 5-6 years to all of these players. It's like this award just
still only a few that you looked at and go, oh, he's done.
I mean, I guess I feel like they're more frequent. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Fair enough. All right, well, yeah, I mean, Damar Hamlin, I guess, comeback player of the year. More than deserving, and not knocking him at all whatsoever. He would deserve the award the second. Has he already played?
I don't know if he's played yet. I
don't think so. He's been out on the he's been out on the field and he has been on the sidelines, but I don't know if he's played yet. But I mean, second he steps on the field, he will most likely win the award. But I mean, obviously, and just to speak on this a little bit too, with Damien Harris's injury last week,
that was scary.
That was very, very scary. And they said it was some sort of neck injury. He had movement in all of his extremities, gave a thumbs up and everything. That stirred up a lot of emotions for the home crowd there with everything happening with Damar last year. So good to see that Damien Harris is okay. Obviously, a former Patriot. Never want to see anyone get injured like that, especially someone that you rooted for 4 years. So, yeah, glad he's all right. Obviously, very similar to kind of what happened to Damar Hamlin. He just took a normal hit. Didn't look like anything bad, and he just collapsed. So, all right, well, let's move on to week 7 and kind of project ourselves into a little more positive thinking. Week 7, we got our 3 games. We got games of the week. We got blowout watch, and we got upset alert. So, Drew, why don't you go ahead? You want to talk to me? Give me a game of the week, because I feel like we are probably going to have the same game of the week. And if not, then you picked the only other one that I think will be also. So.
Yeah, there's really only 2 games that look good this week. Game of the week is Dolphins-Eagles. That's
hands down.
That's easy.
Yep, I'll give a shout out to Detroit-Baltimore.
Could be interesting, but
two intriguing teams.
Baltimore is very overrated in my opinion.
They are. They have played above. Their record is better than what the team itself has been showing.
I mean,
especially
just look at the game last week. They couldn't score a touchdown to save their lives. What did Justin Tucker kick? Like 12 field goals. Yeah. Like, come on. Put the ball in the fucking end zone.
They have the weapons.
You do. So. Absolutely. There's no excuse at this point.
No.
You're playing the Titans. Like, not a bad defensive team, but certainly not the 49ers.
Well, I mean, the Titans' defense has been pretty good.
Pretty good, right? I did say not bad.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, a little more credit. Mike Vrabel is a really good defensive coach.
So. The whole what should be a good offensive team to nothing but field goals, really? Come on.
I know. I get it. I get it. They struggled against some other teams too, so I give them credit. Yeah. Give me Eagles. Give me Dolphins. I mean, it's the Sunday night game. second week in a row where the Sunday night game is deservingly so. Actually, sorry, last week was not. I apologize. It was a good game, not on paper, but it was a good game that was actually played. Bullshit ending. The Giants should have won that game. It was a terrible call, or non-call, excuse me. He was holding him from the line of the end zone all the way to the back. I mean, that was ridiculous. So, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about games of the week, and I think that the Dolphins-Eagles one is a no-brainer. High-scoring offense, an excellent defense with a pretty decent offense as well to boot. Hasn't been as good as it was last year. But we'll see kind of what happens. Something's got to give. I feel like you're sitting at opposite ends of the spectrum where Philly's got the defense and a decent offense. Miami's got the offense and a somewhat decent defense. Really, you got some X factors here. Jalen Ramsey, is he coming back? Will Jalen Hurts be able to produce against a defense, a Miami defense that's given up a lot of points the last couple of weeks? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I fully expect this to be a very, very tight game, though.
I do agree.
So, and they're in Philly, so it's going to be loud.
No doubt.
So, all right, blowout watch. Oh man, it pains me and also does not pain me to say this, but the Bills are going to absolutely fucking curb stomp the Patriots this week. It's not even going to be funny. They're gonna be up by like 24 in the first quarter. So give me the Bills to absolutely shellac the Patriots this week.
Yep. No, we're 100% in agreement there. It's gonna be merciless.
Hector, you really want to go there? I mean, I get that they're 3-3, but like Zach Wilson still exists. The defense,
but Aaron Rodgers could be back. Aaron Rodgers
wild. If Aaron Rodgers comes back and they're still hovering around 500, they're going to make the playoffs. However,
is it possible to like get hurt and come back and win comeback player of the year for that?
Can you?
I don't know, but if Aaron Rodgers fucking plays another game of football this year, I think he has to win comeback player of the year.
I mean, yeah, the injury itself, just wild.
Achilles off rip, and you play another game that year at 40 years old.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's a good point.
That's a pretty good point. They played a really, really good game against Philadelphia last week. I mean, again, Hector, the defense is legit. The defense is winning you games. This is what we've seen out of really good football teams with stellar defenses before. If the defense can win you games, you're in it. So I agree. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to put any stock into Zach Wilson. I don't trust the guy as far as he can throw a football.
He has been a lot better than I anticipated.
Wow. He has been. I mean, but like 10-7, that's a hefty goal. That's a hefty fucking goal. I mean, yeah, if you had Rodgers, you would be 5-1. You would have beaten. You definitely would have beaten us.
Beat Kansas City.
Hands down. I mean, 15-10. They should have beaten us regardless.
Would have beaten Kansas City.
Would have beaten Kansas City. They still should have beaten Kansas City if it wasn't for that blatant fucking holding call that they missed. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Jets are better than their record is. The Jets are definitely better than their record is. They have the tools, they have the weapons, and they have the defense. I think the defense is a top 5 defense this season, and it's shown.
Robert is a good coach. I think
he is a good coach.
They're a well-coached team at this point as well. So
they are for sure. Yeah. So Hector, I mean, it's not far-fetched. It really isn't. It's I guess it's more shocking for me to say that a Zach Wilson-led team would make it to the playoffs at this point.
And also, I think it massively helps that the Bills do not look very good this year.
No, I mean they don't. Josh Allen is reverting to the run and gun turnover machine that he's been before. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be interesting. I don't know. You don't know what Josh Allen you're gonna get, and the Jets defense clearly has been able to, they've clearly been able to stop Josh Allen. They've won a game against him this season already. So, your real test, Hector, is going to be Miami. Are you going to be able to stop that Miami offense? Because if you can sneak out a win against Miami, you sure as hell are going to make the playoffs.
That's true. That's a fact.
Bills will make the playoffs. Miami wins division. I mean, it seems like it's going that way.
It's heavy playoffs, then, huh?
Yeah. My only thing is that if this Miami defense stays the same, I know that there's going to be some sort of regression coming for that offense. It always happens with them. They always regress in the second half of the season. It's just AFC East football for some reason. People start figuring them out. It was clear and evident last season when they were one of the best teams in the league. And then obviously, yes, Tua did get hurt. I'll give them that. But the weapons were still there and they weren't able to kind of put everything together. So I don't know. I mean, Miami should win the division. It's theirs to lose at this point. The Bills are not the same Bills as they have been. And you know what? Just be happy, Hector, that you are not a Patriots fan. Just be happy you're not a Patriots fan, man. It fucking sucks right now. But anyways, blowout win, Drew. Is that your blowout?
Yes, I agree.
That is your blowout. All right, and then we got time for one more. We got the upsetty spaghetti. What's your upset this week, Drew?
You see, I would choose the Chargers over the Chiefs. However, I know where we're going. I know where this fucking league is going, and the Chiefs aren't going to lose another game until Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift break up. So I'm not going to make that my choice.
Right.
So,
even though the Chiefs have looked like okay,
yeah, the Chiefs do not deserve to be 5-1 right now.
No, they don't.
They better be sucking Travis Kelce's dick in the locker room for making them. We all know what's going on. We all see it. It's disgusting. Anyways, give me. I don't know. There aren't really many other games that I look at this week that even feel like they could be upsets. Like, these are all pretty even games.
They're pretty even games, and I guess what you really could do is take a look at.
Vikings are not going to beat the 49ers.
Vikings are not beating the 49ers. I don't see the Chargers beating the Chiefs. Although they do play well, they do match up well.
Again, that's why I was going to choose it. But
right. But yeah, I know. I guess my upset is the Falcons over Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is at home, so I guess you give them that bump at home. But I like the Falcons over the Bucks this week. I also have Detroit over Baltimore. Again, they are an underdog in terms of betting purposes. So
Detroit's an underdog.
Mm-hmm. Detroit is a
all right. There's my upset then. Fuck that.
3-point dog at Baltimore. Yeah, they're a dog.
Easy.
Yeah. Jacksonville is also a dog at going to New Orleans.
Yeah, but I don't trust Jacksonville at all.
No, don't get me wrong. Neither do I. I mean, I do have them +1 against the Saints because they just got to win. I mean, pretty much, right? So even if they lose by 1, we're good. But
yeah,
I
Lions
guess
over Ravens. That's mine for sure.
What's up?
Lions over
Ravens. Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard because you look at the teams and like you could say, oh, the Ravens are going to beat Detroit, but technically the Ravens are the favorite this week. So it's really you can't just look at the records. You really got to go for the actual betting too, or the money line or the point spread or whatever fucking thing you want to look at. Yeah, I mean there are a lot of tight games this week and just a lot of mediocre football teams.
True.
Really, there are maybe I would say 2 or 3 teams that have both sides of the ball that can produce. And it is the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Dolphins. Maybe the Lions too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like that there is.
There isn't both sides of the ball. Miami hasn't proven that they can produce on the defensive side of the ball.
So then I would say it's all NFC teams. It's the Lions, the Eagles, and the 49ers. We know that all those three of those teams can produce both defensively and offensively. So, I mean, Miami's defense is porous, but their offense does more than enough to make up for it. That's the reason why they're 5-1. Right. Kansas City's defense has been carrying them to games, and their offense has done just enough to maybe win them some games. But when it comes down to winning time, it's their defense that's been on the field. So, I mean, yeah, I really there's only really 3 complete teams so far this season. Pittsburgh, yeah, they're 3-2, whoop-de-doo, but their offense is dog shit. Only reason they're that good is because of their defense, right? Like Cleveland, they're 3-2, their offense is dog shit, but the only reason they're that good is because of you know what I'm saying? So there's been a lot of mediocre football being played at least on one half of the ball for all these teams. It's really hard to differentiate. A lot of teams play the same style of football, and then you got the Patriots. So. I want to die.
Maybe resembles football, I guess.
Oh God.
Sometimes.
I just it's so funny. Like, I'm trying to think. Have the Patriots even put up 20 points yet?
I'd be surprised if
even the Broncos put up 20 points. The Broncos, the Bears put up 20 points. The win against the Jets, they scored 15 points. They may have scored 20 points against the Eagles, but that was week 1.
They scored exactly 20 points against the Eagles. That is the most.
And then every week they have scored under 17.
They put up 17 against the Dolphins and 17 against the Raiders last week. But other than that,
0, 3, and 15.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, if you're really looking on paper, the Patriots are the worst team in the league. They really are. Because of their injuries on defense and just how little they can produce on offense, they are the worst team in the league.
There is no team whose offense scares me less than the New England Patriots.
I physically would be able to go out there and cover every single person on that team. Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like we'd have a fighting chance.
Yeah. Like, that's not a real NFL offense. It's sad. And again, it is not the offense itself. It's the accumulation of talent. There's not enough talent on that offense. There's none. There's zero. So, we're looking at it like this. The Patriots offense was somehow better last year than it was this year. They have an offensive coordinator this year, but the lack of talent is what's really hindering them this season. It's not the offensive game plan. They have a decent offensive game plan every week. They just cannot execute. They do not execute it. Plain and simple.
I agree.
So, but that is it. That was garbage time, guys. Fucking already 55 minutes in. We talked about everything we possibly could have. So that is going to be it for us. You know where to find us. Boda Sports, Garbage Time. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are on TikTok, YouTube. Check us out on both of those. On Instagram as well. Like I mentioned before, it's kind of where we do most of our stuff. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and really anywhere else you find us, let us know. Because like I said, if you don't know we're on there, then we will not shout it out. For James, who is on his honeymoon, congratulations again. For Nick, who could not make it tonight for this episode, and for Drew, who is the Drewest of chains sitting right next to me. I am Soggy Boy. I thank you, love all of you, and stay soggy.
Bye.